a trick, a rave, a thought. That perhaps all is not as shitty as it seems. To shop, to buy, to dance, to bust moves with grooves. Aye, perhaps that is all that is missing today. For if two warring dynasties of groceries can jam as one, brought together in a get-down palace built from awesome energy to vibe eternal, then perhaps that can be said of each of us and all of us. The world, the now, the you. Heed and listen and stop checking your fucking phone for a second. For mine is an epic tale that demands, nay, requires attention because it's going to get a little complicated. So drinks up. We're putting on our listening ears and maybe you'll learn something or not. I don't care. We're drinking. Prost! Two brothers, Karl and Theo Albrecht of Germany, took over their mother's store in Essen, eventually building a goodly empire of goods that would come to be known and heralded across the land as Aldi. The name is the slammage of Albrecht and discount, because sometimes things am what they are, humans. Keep up. After a brotherly argument about whether or not they should sell cigarettes, the stores split into Aldi North and Aldi South, and mighty were their reigns over their respective kingdoms. Many tales were strung on lute and horned pipe of the blessed day of abundance, both north and south. Then, 1976, Aldi-ssey moved to the U.S., and the North was not far behind because, capitalism. Meanwhile, in the lands to the west called California, Joe Coulomb, having lived his life from boy to man on an avocado farm, begat what would be a mighty chain that took his name. Originally researching for Al Rexall in his former days, he soon learned the ways of convenience. Founding Pronto Market in L.A. in 1958, it kind of looked like a 7-Eleven inside, which didn't exist in L.A. just yet. So the kids were into it. But yay, no, not enough. Because to avoid crashing the economy, he partnered with their biggest ice cream partner, Adore Milk Farm, which is named... I just can't. I don't get milk. I'll never get milk. You humans are fucking gross. That's as far as I get when I'm thinking about milk. It's boob juice, and you look like you're taking a cum shot from a Dutch boy paint penis when you chug it. But hey, that's Sherman-Williams, baby. Bear your shame. And nay now, tread lightly, for this is when it gets a little complicated. It turns out Merritt Adamson Jr., the president of Adore Milk Farms, had to sell the dairy because his father, Merritt Sr., had made some old milk control laws back in the day. And he was at the Milk King's mercy or something. I'm going to puke. So anyway, the Adore Farm was sold to Southland, who at the time owned 7-11. Oh, the perpetua! Ay me, the gods are cruel. But all's was not lost, nay. First ethos, then pathos, finally to blessed logos. Joe Coulomb found his fate in a new dynasty that would echo through the ages, taking his lessons of convenience to Arroyo Parkway in Pasadena, scrounging all he could from the salvage shops at the Los Angeles Harbor to create a nautical vibe in his new store. In the month of August 1967, he opened Trader Joe's, and that was an example of Kairos. Read a book. You wrote him. Soonish later, 1976, Aldi-ssey conquered the U.S., but then 3 years later, Aldi North looks to expand its grip in the States as well, eyeing a particular nautically themed convenience store only 12 years old. And in 1979, Aldi North bought Trader Joe's, still in ownership today, making the U.S. the only country next to Germany where both Aldi North and Aldi-ssey operate together. And if you're bored, then I don't want to hear any of your hot takes on House of the Dragon, Rings of Power, or whether or not you even want to see the Odyssey. You ain't shit. You got epics at home. Okay, now shifting Shakespeareally, two households, both alike in ownership in fair Minneapolis, where we lay our scene. From German grudge over cigarettes where brothers bond bears blood unclean or whatever. It never got that serious. They just got snippy. Aldi and Trader Joe's, both beguiled by the venue First Avenue at 701 First Avenue North. In a social media post on April 1st, 2026, the post on Instagram mentioned a dance, a jam, a groove to end the rivalry begun 50 years ago when first Aldi-ssey came to the U.S. A Trader Joe's versus Aldi rave, stay fresh and stay cooking, to be held at First Avenue on April 31st. Now, those that follow the account realize the folly, because there is no April 31st. If I may quote the ancient verse, 30 days hath September, April, June, and then November. All the rest have 31. The rest you don't say, mostly because you don't know what it is. Probably because it was lost to oral history, because it was a spell that summoned an ancient calendar demon or something. I don't know. I'm not from your species. We birds have our own oral traditions, and most of them involve our parents puking in our mouths to feed us. So tell me again how hard it was to grow up in the suburbs, Tiffany. Anyway. First Avenue in Minneapolis itself is a historic site, having first been a Greyhound bus depot in 1937. Eventually, in 1970, it was turned into a nightclub. It was known as a red, white, and blue disco club called Uncle Sam's, which was described by the doorman as, quote, Studio 54 for discriminating Kmart shoppers. And do not get me started on Kmart. There's only enough room tonight for one epic. We will get to the Walmart-Kmart wars in the next podcast. And then it was in 1979 when Trader Joe's was bought by Aldi Nord. Pat Benatar and the Ramones were selling out the venue. The disc jockeys Kevin and Cole and Roy Freedom started weekend dance nights called the Danceteria. Uncle Sam's became Sam's in the 80s, and First Avenue became the Coliseum where Prince performed to the end of his days. Long may the purple one reign. So this hallowed hall of disco, glitter, glam, Harvey Wallbangers, and gin fizzes decided to punk its loyal Instagram followers with an April Fool's post about a possible Aldi versus Trader Joe's rave on April 31st, 2026. So popular was this nexus of Joe's, Aldi's, and raves because First Avenue in Minneapolis was already the popular legendary place known as, quote, your downtown Danceteria since 1970, that it was inevitable. It was in the stars. The fates sung its song that we have come here to the anagnoresis, a catharsis, and in its mimesis that on Friday, July 10th, 2026, First Avenue in Minneapolis held a Trader Joe's versus Aldi rave. Throngs of humans arrived in Aldi bags turned into bras and skirts. And Trader Joe's brown bags as mighty hats to show thy allegiance. DJ Hamster Dance spun vinyl tunes, quote, aimed at encapsulating the vibes of both Trader Joe's and Aldi, which is wild, because Aldi famously doesn't play music, because that is too extravagant. Cocktails were served like the quarter for a cart cocktail. The Isle of Shame shot on the screen, towering like the Cyclops over Odysseus' men, were dual dancing images of Trader Joe's strained thick and creamy Greek yogurt and Stonyfield organic probiotic yogurt, Joe's O's and Honey Nut Cheerios, adversarial grossarial imagery made to further the epic battle of Trader Joe's versus Aldi, a battle already won, because there's three Aldis in Minneapolis, but only one Trader Joe's. Yet onward they raved. The chief marketing officer for First Avenue posted, quote, because everything is so much all the time, why not have a night that's just Trader Joe's versus Aldi? The jams roared, the floors screamed, Zeus himself was honored by the lasers, and in that moment all was joined in glorious beats as one. Brother versus brother no more, as the spirits of Carl and Theo and Joe Kaloum, even that weird milk family was into it. Is that not what we need now in our time? A great and mighty epic moment in history that happened in your time. Not war, but dance. Not rage, but rave. Was it not Odysseus himself that said, there is nothing more admirable than when two people who see eye to eye keep house as man and wife, confounding their enemies and delighting their friends, kinda, but in the original Greek. Give thanks, humans, to First Avenue, Aldi, and Trader Joe's. And so our people danced in that field called the Danceteria. And a memory was cast that said, go tell the people, passerby, that here by Prince's law we jive. And the gods said it was right. Athena made the warring sides swear solemn oaths of peace for future times. The times were good. The produce was good. Nary a diarrhea in sight. Humans, it was there that it happened. Do you not see? There are epics everywhere in your own time if you but listen and read. And ye can spread the news by voice and song to the next, and so on and so on. And so tell ye the tale of a brand, a place, a trick, a rave, and a thought that maybe you're gonna be all right. Maybe you will survive. Maybe you will be fine if you would but meet together and shut up and dance. And also drink. I love you. Good night.
Nailed it.